Number 8. Kangaroo Punch. 36-year-old zookeeper Greg Tonkins made headlines in December 2016 when a video of him squaring up with a 6.5-foot, 2 meters tall kangaroo went viral. Tonkins punched a marsupial in the face as he attempted to save his dog from the animal, who had the canine in a headlock. His actions divided millions of people, with many praising him for fiercely defending his dog, but animal activists made him out to be a thug for the brazen attack. Tonkins, who works as an elephant keeper at the Taronga Western Plains Zoo in Dubbo, Australia, initially refused to comment on the situation after becoming a viral sensation, but after 2 years, he's broken his silence. He posted an image of himself lying next to a mob of kangaroos with a caption that read, "They love me and I love them." He explained to his followers that he's raised the creatures for years and that he has nothing against them. The whole ordeal happened while Tonkins was on a hunting trip. When his dog got into some trouble with a kangaroo, he was forced to intervene. But after releasing the canine, the kangaroo turned to Tonkins, who had to defend himself. Before the animal could land a blow, Tonkins hit first and landed a punch on the kangaroo's face, which sent it running off. It wasn't for a few months after everything happened that the video was posted online, gaining international attention. Tonkins was condemned for his behavior by PETA, and he started getting threats from individuals claiming to be animal rights activists. And while many people in his position would have shared their side of the story with the press immediately, Tonkins refused to talk to the media. Since the incident, he's pretty much kept to himself on his farm in New South Wales, and he continues to work with elephants while trying to repair his relationship with kangaroos. Number 7. Pacer. The term man's best friend doesn't do dogs justice, at least not for a border collie from Prince George, British Columbia, who helped his owner escape a bear attack in May 2016. A man named Reed Roberts was running along paths outside the University of Northern British Columbia with his dog Pacer when suddenly they met a black bear with her 2 cubs. This was reportedly the duo's second bear sighting in that week alone. The previous Monday, they'd come across a bear on Cranbrook Hill, which is just a short distance away, but luckily Pacer managed to chase it off. But this time, things got a little more complicated. In an interview with CBC News, Roberts said, "She didn't hear us coming and we didn't know she was there." He explained that the mama bear had no choice but to go into attack mode. He stated that he didn't know how he ended up there, but at some point he found himself on the ground with the bear looking on top of him. Roberts started kicking, not knowing what else to do while on his back, which was when his dog Pacer came in. There's research that states dogs can sometimes be a safety hazard in remote regions since they play a role in provoking wild animal attacks. But in this case, Roberts likely wouldn't be alive if his trusted companion hadn't saved him. As he continued his useless defense strategy from the ground, his dog Pacer barked and bit the bear. The little dog may not have been powerful enough to take it down, but he provided a distraction that let Roberts stand up. This sudden movement caused the bear to charge, but luckily Pacer intervened once again. The canine bit at the bear and showed its teeth some more, leading the wild animal and its 2 cubs away from Roberts, who was bleeding from his hand. The bear took off after Pacer, but Roberts knew the little dog could easily outrun her. With the dangerous creature out of sight, he called 911. As he stood in a parking lot waiting for paramedics to arrive, his friend called him saying that Pacer had shown up at his door about a mile, 2 kilometers away. Amazingly, the canine made it out of the ordeal while saving his owner's life. Roberts, on the other hand, had to get 16 stitches on his left hand. Luckily, the rest of the man's injuries were just minor cuts and bruises, which weren't too serious. Roberts now refers to Pacer as his hero and his best friend. Number 6. Raccoon in a headlock. In 2021, a woman from Massachusetts was trying to hang up her outdoor Christmas lights when she was attacked by a raccoon. 70-year-old Donna Sanguinario shared a post to her Facebook page explaining the whole incident. She said she'd heard a strange noise coming from the street behind her on December 1st, and when she turned around to see what it was, she saw a huge raccoon sitting only 10 feet, 3 meters away from her. Then, before she could do anything, the creature jumped towards her. Donna ended the post by saying, "Worst nightmare of my life." Apparently, both her and the raccoon were screaming during the attack, which drowned out her own cries for help. At one point, the animal fell off of her arm, but immediately latched back onto it in order to continue the assault. After falling, Donna managed to get the raccoon in a headlock, and she refused to let go of it. She might have squeezed just a little too hard though, because in her own defense she ended up breaking some bones in the critter's neck. But luckily for all you animal lovers out there, the raccoon was alive and walked away after Donna released it. The 70-year-old was left with several bloody injuries. She told her local news station WHDH that she had broken ribs and that she'd also have to get a series of shots, including a tetanus shot, on the off chance the raccoon was rabid. Donna told the media that she eventually put up her Christmas lights and that she'll be prepared for any other wild raccoons the next time she's in her front yard. Number 5. Later Gator. In 2021, a children's party in West Valley City, Utah went horribly wrong when an alligator handler was pulled into a water tank right in front of several kids. Footage of the incident was captured by Teresa Wiseman, who brought her child to the party. The video shows a female alligator instructor at Scales and Tails, an entertainment and educational company, attempting to guide an alligator into the water tank after making its way onto a platform. The handler then signals a command, which should have told the alligator to head back into the water. But as a group of kids attending the event watched from behind the glass, the alligator instead grabbed the instructor's hand and pulled her into the tank. With the woman in its jaws, the gator twisted and thrashed deeper into the water. The husband of the woman who filmed the incident, Donnie Wiseman, and another guest, Todd Christopher, then jumped in to help wrestle the instructor out of the alligator's mouth. Donnie jumped on the creature's back as he attempted to subdue the gator as Todd worked to open its jaws. Just a few moments later, the animal released the handler's hand, who immediately jumped to safety. After saving the instructor, Donnie found himself in a dangerous situation as he was literally on the back of a gator. Luckily though, he managed to jump off safely. Both guests and the instructor made it back behind the glass with their lives, but the children in the audience will probably be scarred for life. The handler was given medical assistance by a nurse attending the party until emergency services arrived. She underwent surgery to repair her hand, but was expected to recover fully. Number 4. Chicken Dinner. In early 2023, a little girl from Mississippi was attacked by one of her family's chickens, and her mother's response had people clucking with disapproval. In a Facebook post that's since gone viral, Megan Schmidt explained that her family cooked and ate their pet rooster named Hey Hey after he'd assaulted her young daughter. Even though she deleted the original post from her social media account, several pictures of her daughter covered in bloody pecks from the chicken surfaced on Megan's fan page. The post from January 12th amassed over 16,000 comments and 56,000 shares in just a short period of time. It included images of the girl standing next to the bird before the incident happened. The post also showed pictures of the family eating chicken nuggets that were presumably made from Hey Hey. In the caption, Megan wrote, "We were so lucky that he didn't do any more damage than he did. Half an inch and she would have lost an eye." She was referencing the scratches the child received on her face as a result of the chicken attack, which were near her right eye. She ended the post by saying, "Hey Hey nuggets for dinner," which left the comment section divided as to whether or not the rooster deserved death. As a consequence of her actions, Megan was slammed for her parenting skills by Facebook users who couldn't believe she'd brag about killing an animal online. One commenter asked her, "Why even have a rooster if you're not going to watch your kid around it?" In the end, people are entitled to do what they want with their animals, but people are also entitled to express their own opinions. Number 3. Wild Boar. In February 2023, a wild boar crashed into a popular ski resort in Miyako City, Japan, before attacking 2 snowboarders. This was the first incident of its kind to happen at the Alpenblick snow resort. In a video taken by a witness, a wild boar can be seen plowing into a pair of snowboarders at the bottom of a slope. In the wake of the attack, resort visitors were urged to take caution as they weren't sure what had caused the boar to lash out. In one clip, a man can be seen coming to a stop at the end of a slope, seemingly unaware of what's coming next. Just seconds later, the boar bolts down the mountain and rams right into him, who was understandably taken by surprise. The man falls to the ground, and the boar keeps him there as it continues to headbutt him. The snowboarder then tries to use his board to protect himself as shocked bystanders run away. After a while, the boar darts off and chooses a second victim, another snowboarder. The individual defended themselves with their board too, until the animal was finally scared off by the sound of the snowmobile siren, which were set off by resort staff. It's unclear where the boar came from and where it went. The resort's manager, Hazawa Kazuhiko, told news station NHK that he'd never seen anything like it before, but that he'd increase patrols and take other precautions to avoid a similar incident in the future. Number 2. Rabid Fox. Sherry Russo, a retired nurse from New York, received 16 injuries after being attacked by a rabid fox on July 25, 2022. The 61-year-old told Fox News that she originally thought the fox in her front yard was her neighbor's dog, so she didn't pay that much attention to it. But then the animal nipped at her leg, which is when she realized it was actually a wild animal attacking her. Sherry said he was a little guy, but he was just relentless. She explained to the news channel that he kept coming back and that every time he did, she lost confidence in her ability to ward the fox off. Sherry threw the fox to the ground multiple times, but it kept jumping up at her and biting her. At one point, she attempted to grab him and pull him off her leg, but that's when the animal chomped down between her thumb and forefinger, leaving her hand incredibly swollen. Thankfully, her neighbor noticed what was happening and came out with a stick to scare the fox away, which seemed to do the trick. Sherry was so grateful that her neighbor intervened and said it would have been easy for him to pretend like he didn't hear anything instead. But thanks to his kind deed, Sherry escaped the encounter with less injuries than she would have if he hadn't helped her out. Number 1. Arthur saves the day. In February 2021, Australia's Animal Emergency Service made a post on Facebook praising a domestic short-hair cat for sacrificing his life to save his family's 2 young children from a deadly snake. Arthur the cat was following his little humans around a family's yard when out of nowhere a venomous eastern brown snake popped up in the grass, slithering towards the youngsters. With barely a second's notice, the feline jumped into action. Before the snake could lunge at either of the young children, Arthur intervened and killed it. But sadly, in the process of saving his family, he sustained a fatal bite from the creature. Arthur collapsed immediately after getting the bite, but he managed to regain consciousness pretty quickly. But the next day he collapsed again and was unable to wake up. The post from the Animal Emergency Service called Arthur a 4-legged hero, and that's exactly what he was. It's unfortunate that he didn't survive, but who knows what would have happened if either of his humans had been bit instead. This story just goes to show that it's not just dogs that are man's best friend, it's cats and other pets too. Which animal do you think you could fight off if your child was in danger? A kangaroo or an alligator? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. See you later.